It's difficult in today's Warframe for a standard old assault rifle to stand out. Simply because you got a whole bunch of these fancy weapons with laser beams, big explosions, plasma balls, and all whatnot. But if you guys fancy yourself the classic bullet hose experience, then let me introduce you to my favorite assault rifle in Warframe, the Prisma Gorgon. As always, my name is Leyzar, and I got a couple of builds lined up. Something cheap, something affordable, something that most then will be able to build as a jumping off point. But fret not, we also got the Endgame setup. With Prime mods, Galvanized mods, a Riven, we're going to be taking it to Steel Path, basically the works. That said though, please bear in mind that my builds and guides usually take a more new player friendly tone, simply because I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So in case you're a vet and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Prisma Gorgon. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and for that we're gonna do just a couple of our regular free shots. The Prisma Gorgon is a pretty simple and straightforward weapon. This is a hit scan attack on an automatic rifle. Now it does have a bit of a spool up to it, meaning it doesn't start off at full fire rate. It takes about a second and a half for the weapon to fully spool up. And the accuracy, well, 50-meter standard test. Most of the bullets, the very large majority, will be landing within the crosshairs, but it does have a little bit of jiggle to it, and I recommend you use stabilizer in the weapon XL slot. Now, the magazine is pretty hefty, the fire rate is fantastic, and the reload is, well, a tad on the lengthy side. But let's hop into stats to see exactly what we're dealing with. Accuracy is gonna be 20 on. This one is decent as you saw, nothing really to be worried about. But keep in mind that mod capacity, 60 out of 60. And if your comes with only 30 out of 30, jump into actions and plug in the Auto King Catalyst, which will be doubling the mod capacity. Is it worth on the Prisma Gorgon? If you want a simple, straightforward assault rifle, honestly, it's my favorite assault rifle in Warframe, definitely. But it's still a single target weapon for the most part without punch through. So in today's meta, it may not be one of the most powerful weapons in the game. That said, mine is 4 mod 9 times. Okay, fine, a little bit exaggerated, but I go for a lot of mod combinations so I can bring you the best builds possible. For the weapon build I'm recommending you can get away with something like 3 or 4 forma. Simply go with V symbols or Madurai. And by the way, the Prisma Gorgon is sold by Barokiteer, the Void Trader. You can also buy it from the trade chat if it hasn't been leveled at all. Fire rate is super solid, 14.17 with a magazine of 120, noise alarming. But the reload, 3 seconds. It's a huge magazine, but that reload definitely matches. Riven Dispo, 4 out of 5. Now this is a high Riven Disposition weapon, meaning it's not a very popular weapon. Trigger automatic. As for the damage, we got critical chance 30% with a 2.3x critical multiplier. Critical chance above average critical multiplier, again significantly above average. Status chance is low, however, only 15%. On the other hand, you're going to be putting into your targets a whole lot of bullets, and our procs will be coming from Hunter Munitions that doesn't care about the weapon's status chance, so do bear that one in mind. Unfortunately, it's a impact based attack. I got a minus impact Riven. So I'm gonna be able to get rid of this one. Keep in mind that impact is not as horrible as it used to be, because you can use this mod, internal bleeding, that gives you slash from impact. But in the case of the Prisma Gorgon, the obvious better choice is gonna be to go with the good old-fashioned Hunter Munitions, which will get you more slashes than internal bleeding. Now, before we go to the standard build, it is worth unlocking the weapon XL slot, but if you don't have the resources, you don't 100% have to. There are 2 good mods from my humble point of view. Vigilante Supplies, if you find yourself you have ammo issues, and if you're going to be overdoing it with fire rate, you will have some ammo issues. If not, simply go with Stabilizer, which makes the weapon a whole lot more usable and fun to play with. As for the Arcane slot, this one should always be unlocked for the weapons that you want to get the most out of, because it simply adds power to it. Primary Dexterity is to be used if you're going to be using your primary in tandem with your melee. Primary Deadhead is to be used when you're going for a raw damage approach, something like Corrosive Heat, for example. And Primary Merciless is to be used when most of your targets are going to be dying under the effects of procs, such as fire procs, so heat procs, slash procs, electricity procs, whatever else. So Primary Merciless, in this case, is gonna be best in slot. Now let's have a look at a standard, ordinary, everyday setup meant towards more newer or casual players. Something to treat like a jumping off point, if you will. Damage acceleration, multi-shot with split chamber, we got critical chance and critical damage through the use of critical delay and vital sense. Now critical delay is a corrupted mod, so it's gonna give you a lot of critical chance. Look at that, 200%. I'm going to 90% critical chance with critical delay alone, but it also takes away 20% of that glorious fire rate. You need to farm corrupted mods in Warframe, and if you don't know how to farm them, link the cards right now. Trust me, you're going to be needing a whole lot of them. As stated before, 100 Munitions is a best-in-slot mod. There's simply no arguing that, to be honest. And of course, since we have 100 Munitions, it's really pointless to add a whole lot of slash without the viral elemental combo, so therefore Rime Rounds and Malignant Force. Malignant Force you can farm from Corrupted Vor in the Void. Corrupted Vor drops all of the 60/60 Toxin mods, and you will need basically all of them, so happy farming. As for Rime Rounds, this one you can obtain from spy missions. If not, you can buy both of these, all of these actually, from the trade chat. I don't recommend. All of these mods are easy and cheap to obtain. Serration is the only issue here, simply because it takes a whole lot of endo to max out. If you're a newer player in Warframe and you don't have the endo, simply leave 2 free balls from the top and prioritize all the rest of the mods over Serration. Now, the final slot is a bit of an option slot, as I like to call it. Go with this one. Try this one, Shred. 30% fire rate and 1.2 meters worth of punch through. Absolutely bloody fantastic. It gets my fire rate to slightly above what it was before I put on critical delay, and you also get that 1.2 meters worth of punch through. That means that the bullets are going to be going through your target. It's a form of AoE in Warframe. And some players also have Prime Shred with 55% fire rate and 2.2 meters worth of punch through. It's an absolutely fantastic mod. But let's say I don't have Shred, I don't whatever. My friends, multi-shot. Always more multi-shot. And this is Vigilante Armaments, a super cheap and easy to obtain mod. Honestly, there's no excuse for not having this one. 60% more multi-shot. You cannot go wrong with more multi-shot. Here's another option that I do enjoy. How about one more 60/60 mod, and you can add some heat to the weapon in the form of Thermite rounds. You saw what I did there? I exchanged the position of Malignant Force with 100 munitions before I put on Rime rounds. That is because elemental combinations are 2x2 from top left to bottom right. So if I didn't do that, then it would become Toxin and Blast, which is horrible. But like so, Viral Heat, which is essentially what you want. Now in this case, because I don't really give Shred as much credit as it deserves, we're gonna try it out with Shred. Let's check out the build, make sure we don't have anything that will skew the test results. Perfect. We're going to be spawning in Corrupted Heavy Gunners level 120. Now this is far, far above what most players in Warframe are going to see. This is basically sortie free plus if you're planning on staying a whole lot of time in it. And as before, we're going to go for straight headshots. The test to any Varo slash build is hit a target till about 50-60%, then watch the slashes absolutely annihilated. As you can see, the weapon absolutely wrecks house, so no problem whatsoever with a cheap, ordinary, average, everyday build. The impact damage itself isn't really all that high. What is that high, however, are the procs, because you simply put a whole lot into your target. One last thing that I would like to mention when it comes to the option slot, I did not mention more crit. You can get more crit, you can get your critical chance guaranteed through the use of Argon Scope. You're up to 90%. You don't really need Argon Scope at this point, even though you will still benefit from the new tier of crit. If you don't know how to farm Argon Scope, you can get it nowadays very easily from bounties on Deimos. It used to be very expensive, but now it's really easy to obtain. This is the kind of performance you can expect out of the weapon. Honestly, it really does pack one serious punch. It's so good at applying slash and viral, you can hit the target till about, is that 70? That was way more than 70 though. You can hit it till about 70% and it's still gonna absolutely annihilate your target most times. And that concludes the more casual build to the weapon. Again, I'm trying to project the fact that you should treat these builds as a jumping off point, just so you can understand what the weapon is capable of doing with a minimum of investment. And let's say you don't have all the mods. But of course you got the other side of the coin. What if you do have all the mods? Of course, we're going to be using Primary Merciless. I'm also going to be using Stabilizer in the Weapon Excellence slot. Galvanized Aptitude instead of Serration. Essentially, I'm going to be getting a whole lot of flat damage. And if I'm going to be using Warframe buffs, I'm even going to have more flat damage on top of my flat damage. So go with Galvanized Aptitude instead of Serration. You can also go for a faction mod, a Bane mod in this case. I don't recommend these mods simply because I'm trying to get the developer to actually do something about their usability. Not that they're not powerful, they're just simply a pain in the arse and I want them modified. Galvanized Chamber instead of the normal one. And we also got a Riven on this one. This is a Vexi Critatis. It's got critical chance, critical damage, electricity, and minus impact. Now, before the elemental changes, this was an absolutely amazing riff, and nowadays I don't really recommend going for minus impact on most weapons anymore, simply because there are uses, like I said before, to minus impact. The beauty of minus impact is the target no longer doing the hopscotch when you're pulling a million bullets into it, and you want to get headshots when it comes to critical weapons such as this one because of the bonus critical multiplier. If you're still unclear on how critical chance critical damage works and applies in Warframe, trust me, it's a bit more complicated than it may seem. I got a nifty guide, link in the cards right now. It's an old guide, but things still work the same in Warframe when it comes to critical chance and critical multiplier, so do bear that one in mind. Now let's see what kind of a difference we can get on the same Corrupted Heavy Goons level 120. Going for headshots. This being a galvanized setup, I'm gonna have to get a couple of kills before the build will be in full swing. Vital, slashes, and boom! A whole lot of buffs from the galvanized. Look at that. Look at that. And now I'm stacking, and stacking the weapon gets a whole lot more powerful. You got electricity procs from the ribbon. You got vital slash. Oh man, look at that. Absolutely bloody insane, man. I love this weapon, and it can chomp through targets with such ease. One more time, just to make sure that you guys don't think it was a fluke or anything. It's true, single target weapons such as this one don't really have a whole lot of use in today's meta, but if you guys enjoy yourself, a good old-fashioned assault rifle, there are a few that can match the Prisma Gorgon. And if you do like this style of weapon, I got another one which you guys should check out, link in the cards right now. I got one for the Tenora Prime and also the Soma Prime, another outstanding weapon. Now I know what you're thinking, dude, the weapon does well in a controlled environment on standing still targets. Well, let's head on over to Steel Path and see how the weapon performs in an actual mission. Welcome to the Void, my friends, Steel Path mode, and here is a Corrupted Heavy Gunner level 130 in Steel Path, getting absolutely wrecked. As you can see, the weapon simply chomps through targets like nobody's business. It's simply that strong of a weapon. Yes, you don't really have AoE, you don't have one button kill everything, but honestly, when it comes to execution, subjectively speaking, granted, this is a whole lot of fun to do. Now let's see if I can find a few more beef targets so I can show you the power of this bullet hose. When I have ammo issues, usually I don't really care about that much about using an the XLS mod to fix that problem. Usually I simply drop a pad. In Steel Path, however, these do have a cooldown, so bear that one in mind. There we go, got a whole bunch of targets over here. Take out the drone first, that offers them a whole lot more EHP than they should have. But this being Corpi, they're gonna be dying rather easily. And I don't think there's anything else I can show you in Steel Path that will get you more or less convinced than you already are. The weapon does pack one serious punch, and you can make it even more powerful than this with a few Warframe buffs. And when it comes to Warframe buffs, let me introduce you to the ever so lovely Lady Mirage Prime. Now let's fix the fashion really quickly. Perfect. We're going to be using corrosive projection simply because we're going to be shooting heavily armored targets, but don't feel forced into this one. If your build calls for whatever aura, something like shield disruption, rejuvenation, growing power, why not? Simply go for the aura of your choosing. If the aura is that relevant to your build, don't forget about coaction drift. Now when it comes to arcanes, these are a lot more impactful. I always recommend you keep one arcane for your Warframe, something like your Energize. In this case, I'm gonna go with Avenger. Check. Oh, already equipped. Arcane Avenger R5. This one on damage, a massive 21% chance for 45% critical chance for 12 seconds. Bonus additive after, simply stacking on top of what you already have. It's a fantastic mod. Arcane, it applies to your primary, secondary, and to your melee at the exact same time. As for your second arcane, if I really want to get the most amount of flat damage, you can go with something like Arcane Rage. It's not really needed. You can go with Fire Rate, with acceleration, like so, and this is what we're going to be using today. Again, this slot normally should be for your Warframe. Acceleration on critical hit will grant you a whole lot of fire rate. Honestly, it's not really needed against these targets because I'm just gonna slightly touch the trigger and they will die. When it comes to companion buffs, you got two options. You can either go for the Panzerwulpaphyla. The Panzerwulpaphyla will grant you vital procs, it's very important, and if you do have vital procs from the Panzerwulpaphyla, then you can simply build your weapon for corrosive heat. So corrosive, heat, and vital. Absolutely fantastic. Or you can use your little sentinel. Make sure that on that little sentinel you have the 4 vigilante mods: offense, supplies, fervor, and armaments. If you already have it on the weapon, you know vigilante supplies. If you already have it in the weapon XL slot, you no longer need to use it here as it will not have an effect. You'll get that 20% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons. Even if your little sentinel dies and never comes back to life, you will still retain that buff. We're going to be unpausing the target so they can hit me and I can get my glorious, absolutely glorious buffs. Activate Empower for Mirage and her free ability Eclipse for an absolutely outstanding damage increase. One more time for the ever so lovely Plummet. This is too much damage, honestly. I gotta be careful not to waste ammo. I'm not even letting... Okay, let the ticks kill this one. Just 2 bullets. Oh my god. What was that? 2 bullets in that target? That was like 70, 80,000 bleed damage. Absolutely bloody insane. So, believe it or not, you can get even more flat damage on top of this. Flat damage, however, does have its limitations depending on the HP, the armor of your targets. Eventually, it will simply fall off, which is why it's not a good idea to simply stack flat damage too much if and only if you're going to be fighting super high level targets. I'm talking about 6,000, 7,000 and whatever thousand. For normal, average, everyday content, for like the 95, 98% of the content that Warframe has to offer, clear time will always win out, my friends. And that's pretty much it. As always, my name is Lazer. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. As for the Prisma Gorgon, it's hard for me to come out and with a conclusion for it, simply because I love this weapon. Like I said, it is my favorite assault rifle in Warframe, so how could I not recommend it? If this is not powerful enough for you, then well, check out the Tsar. Link the cards right now. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And if you love the content, hey, consider supporting us via Patreon. Link in the cards once again, right now. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.